So for everybody that's just getting on, I want to give you a little bit of a tour of if you have a chance to turn on your video and your mic, you should do that. So we're all ready for the Q&A sessions. We'll be going through everything in a little bit, but try and make sure you follow the prompts to turn on video and audio, and that way we'll be ready for Q&A. I see a bunch of you are all set with that. Ish and Tanya and Mike, I see that you're all set. I see Michael. I see a lot of different things. And we have Paul and Jesus ready for our introductions here. Jesus, can you talk? I want to test your audio. Can you turn it on, please? Okay, so I think what we need to do is for you to click on those three little dots along the top of the bar next to, participants and notes, and follow in the settings, choose the right microphone.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Awesome.
Perfect.
Okay. Ready to go. So all we need is Paul. He was here just a second ago. And it is so good to see everybody here. This is our debut Accelerator. We got some fun things planned today. Okay, Paul, we see you.
You can see me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. This is awesome. This is great. We are ready to go.
When will I see my presentation?
I have the presentation up. Can you see it at all?
I see Subscription Accelerator.
Yep, and that's it. So what we'll do is if you want to see, we have, you can go to the right or the left at the bottom if you hover, and so it's all right there, so you can see.
How do I navigate? How do I move the slides?
You can do it one of two ways.
Right.
So page one is, option one is, if you hover your mouse right above where our pictures are, you'll see a 1 through 24 and with a right arrow and a left arrow, and you can just move the slides there.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Okay, so then the other option is if you see right next to everybody's names, I see Eric Gilbert's name, Lauren Riley's name, Mike Grillo's. There's a little like left kind of arrow, and if you click on that, all the slides show up. Or I can be your assistant and just make sure they move through because you're right after.
You know what? The funny thing is I see that main slide, and I don't have anything else as a guide to do anything. I don't see any arrows. I see myself in the lower right-hand corner, but I don't have any directionals.
All right. Well, I will switch them for you then. Just tell me when you want to move, and we'll not worry about it and focus on the content.
That doesn't seem. I don't want to get out of here now that I'm live, right? But
yeah, we've got everybody on board and listening to us and ready to go in 2 minutes. So
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So, hey, everybody, this is Kathy Sexton, and we are about to get going with our subscription accelerator. And today we are going to be talking about advanced retention strategies. We've got a really great crew attending today, and this is going to be your day. So I want to just welcome you all. We're going to wait a few more minutes while everybody gets on board. If you have any questions or run into any issues, then please go to customer service at subscriptioninsider.com. The team is monitoring that inbox. And we also have a chat window. If you look over to the chat on the right-hand side, you can chat us up. You can ask a question where the question mark is and communicate with us. So we're looking at everything there. And we'll get going in just a couple minutes as a few more people get on board. Okay. So how is everybody doing today? If you can, just practice using the chat. If you have any quick questions, you can type them there. Let us know where you're from. Of course, we know where you're from. We have some amazing companies participating today from all over the world, which is really exciting. So we're going to have some very different perspectives on what we're going to be talking about today as we go into breakout discussion rooms. So it's going to be very, very exciting. So with that, it's 1 o'clock. I propose we get started. Hey, Jesus and Paul, what do you think? Get started?
Rock and roll.
Rock
Let's
and
go.
roll. Perfect. Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to Subscription Insiders, Subscription Accelerator. And today for the next few hours, we're going to be talking about advanced retention strategies. So I have with me today to welcome you and to kick things off, Paul Larson, who is the founder and managing partner of PLC, and Jesus Lizardo, who's a vice president and head of growth for Vindicia. Jesus and Paul, welcome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep, you betcha. So we have everybody on the call today is very experienced in subscriptions, from the experts who are joining us and participating and delivering sessions to us through the next few hours, to all of you who are experts in your own businesses. We're really excited to kind of get started with the day. For those of you who are new to Subscription Insider, we are producing this event. We are a news and information company that provides events like this to help you do your job more effectively and more profitably. And I am so pleased to be partnering with the team at Vindicia as our co-hosts. For those of you who may not be familiar with Vindicia, they are an Amdocs company, and they offer comprehensive subscription management solutions that help you acquire, retain more customers. I'm going to let them tell you if you have any questions about that. And from there, we're going to get right into the heart of things. And I can see that my little fancy-dancy slide is a little bit tweaked here from from what we designed, but we're setting the retention stage for you. And as we get started, there's a lot of things that are happening in the market today. And I wanted to kind of really talk through and set the stage for all the different things that we're going to be talking about. First of all, our friends at Mather Economics, they do a lot of research in recurring revenue and the economics of what's happening with retention and churn. And they've just finished a study on the impact of COVID. So they've been looking at month to month what's really, really happening. And what you can see here is there's been overall in digital subscriptions an increase with conversion rate and conversions. But if you look at this data a little bit more deeply, you will see that the new users, new customers coming into your businesses are a little bit challenged, but those who you've established a relationship with, that is doing just fine. So something to really keep note of and be mindful of as we think about and talk about retention from the top of the funnel. When you look about that new subscriber retention metrics, you can see that they are going down. So this is a week by week map of churn and retention from the beginning of the pandemic. And you can see that it's becoming more and more of a challenge. I will tell you that depending on the vertical of what your particular subscription model is, it is different, but this is a general trend that we are all facing. Paul has spoken and set the stage for all of our workshops starting in 2015, I believe. So this would not be a workshop without Paul setting the stage with other things beyond COVID that are really impacting us right now because the world has not stopped. Paul?
Great, thanks, Kathy, and greetings to all of you who have joined today's conversation. I hope it actually can be a conversation. No doubt, like me, many of you have attended and participated in a number of payments-oriented conferences and boot camps for years. And in my experience, we do it mostly for the right reasons. Sometimes it's for frequent flyer miles, but those don't matter that much anymore. So I know that we attend and contribute. We want to be able to confirm the latest trends. We want to be able to benchmark our own procedures and outcomes against those of our peers. And then perhaps most crucially, to engage those peers and sometimes even our competitors in deep kind of solutions-oriented discussions. And as Kathy said, for me, as one who has delivered myriad kickoff presentations, here's a shocking confession. I'm sure you're shocked by this. It's often a matter of dusting off previous kickoff presentations and freshening up the data, while of course referencing any recent seismic events like the latest mega breaches. You see one on the screen there, and I think there's another one to follow that, Kathy. These are like distant memories, right? And then I allude to the kind of the state of the economy and try to draw out what it could mean to the health of the subscription industry and specifically to churn and what we need to do to be able to continue to crush it. And here's a headline from the Wall Street Journal just back in February. But this now, COVID is different. You see in the next slide what we all kind of know is true. But what we can't fully know yet is how different, nor do we know how long it'll be different. We're definitely in uncharted waters, and our navigational devices may very well be broken. It's hard to tell just yet, but just as there are stars to help guide navigators through inhospitable seas to safe havens, there are also stars in our industry. I don't mean people, I mean best practices or fundamentals, things that can assist in providing secure passage for us as well, even during these trying times. So I think it's really important for us to remember that the subscription industry is no new fad. And through many phases over a long period of time, facing many obstacles, we have never been less than resilient. New challenges to lifetime value have continually arisen and morphed decade after decade, but we figure out how to overcome, and we often do it in collaboration with each other at gatherings just like this.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the first few months of this pandemic indicate that continued resilience. And our team and other teams will provide more concrete results a little later. But so far, most of our subscription company customers are holding their own, if not advancing. And yet, how foolish we would be to sweep the uncertainties, the ambiguities, the unanswered questions we're facing under the rug. I mean, can we continue to hold our own as jobs erode and the discretionary income associated with those jobs go away? Will the lockdowns truly still end? And when they do, will the new normal be closer to where we are or where we were? Well, this is the kind of get-together in which we think through and plan for both. Because while much is different, the overarching thing is not. We need to work hard to hold on to the customers we already have. And we do that by sharing the ideas and information that help ensure that to the greatest extent possible, our payments foundations are strong and flexible. Our payments logic is fine-tuned and optimized. Why? So we can continue the decades-long tradition of subscription resilience and growth. We can do this.
Yeah.
Let's get at it.
Yep. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very, very much. I know that you've been looking at kind of the industry as a whole. Jesus, you want to add a few thoughts for us today?
Yeah, so I think as Kathy and Paul mentioned, we're facing a new normal in terms of subscription businesses. But at the same time, as Paul mentioned, the subscription economy and industry is showing resiliency. But the challenge is not a new challenge. We're going to talk about today about retention. Retention has been a challenge for the subscription industry since it started. But we believe it could be accentuated in the next few months after we pass this crisis. And the intent is to talk today about and sharing ideas on how you as a subscription business can prevent that from happening. If you look at some of the numbers that we have in the slide there, more than 85% of failed payments are what we call false decline. So it means passive churn, meaning there is a portion of those payments that were failure on the payment flow, but that impacts your customer experience, that impacts your subscriber retention. And that amounts to about $33 billion last year, according to MasterCard, which is a huge number for the subscription industry. So part of the discussion today is how we collectively can work together to reduce that number and making sure that you provide to your customers the experience they are looking for and they stay connected with those subscriptions that they love. And if we look at the next slide, we go to the next slide. This is not a surprise for anybody. I mean, everybody that is experiencing subscription knows that every time that you have a renewal failure, it impacts directly your revenue because that customer goes away. It impacts, of course, your costs associated with the efforts that you're going to put in collecting that failed payment. But more importantly, impacts the way that you retain your customer, that future revenue loss, because typically that's a lot larger than the one that you are trying to recover. And at the end, it impacts your brand. And we're going to talk a little bit about it because the subscribers are experiencing plenty of offerings out there, some similar to your offerings, So they're going to need to choose between your subscription services and somebody else. So customer experience, overall user experience is key to retain those customers. And that's part of the discussion we intend to have today.
Perfect.
So, Kathy.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. So what is our goal for today? My personal goal for you is there's a lot of learning for you so that you can bring these back to your company and really help your company with your bottom line and revenue. But also what's important is that, I'm just going to fix something there, is that we want you to be networking. We want you to make sure that you're meeting with people. So every opportunity that we have after each briefing and each session, we're going to be breaking out into sessions, smaller sessions, so you can get to know one another. So I want to cover a little bit of housekeeping here to make sure that we are all set with what to do. So we're just finishing right now our welcome remarks, and we're about to go into a research presentation that ACI Worldwide is going to be delivering. They just did some great research with MasterCard on consumer payment preferences and provider pain points. So what you're going to be doing is when we leave here is going back to that agenda page and clicking on that session. And we'll be doing that throughout the day. So we have 2 sessions, ACI, then PLC is going to be doing a great workshop on managing your payments in our new world of COVID. We'll be taking a break where people can be using and eating some of their goodies from the Subscription Insider's subscription box we sent you. Then we'll be doing a workshop with PaySafe on data. Jesus will be talking at 3:15 about retention and retention strategy and profitability, and then we'll be having a grand Q&A at the end. So as you did here, you'll be clicking on the broadcast button for each session, and you might be saying, Kathy, why do we have to click on each one? Well, the reason is the platform that we're using really allows all of us to kind of talk and communicate and share. That's our whole goal. And like any conference, if people are gathering and talking with a speaker at the end, sometimes you might want to do that while a next session starts. So that way we can kind of do that and all of that. So the next thing I want to kind of talk to you about is if you have a question during the session, you can make sure that you use the chat window. You can use a chat or ask a question or turn on your video. When we go into the Q&A rooms, you'll be able just to talk at a very small scale with everybody else who's in that room with you. And then if you haven't already, please activate your profile in the community. That way people can get in touch with you if you want to. It's very easy. You just got to click LinkedIn and you're good to go. So it's just a great way to network with people and find out who is here beyond just reading the names on everybody's screen. So it's also a great way to check out backgrounds, and if you kind of recognize a name, you can check out their LinkedIn profile as well. So I'd recommend everybody go do that now. And again, if you have any issues, please use customer service at subscriptioninsider.com. So with that ends our welcome session, and we're now going to just head on over to the ACI Worldwide session. So I will see you over there.